shirt. Guys, what is going on? How y'all doing on this Sunday evening? This is the Club of the Man 1993. I am here live to give you my live review of this week's edition of Smackdown, the August 14th, 2020 edition of Smackdown. Once again, took place at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And it looks like this coming week could be changing to the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. So, getting somewhere. Getting that Performance Center. If that is the case. I believe it is. What do I know? Yeah. Smackdown this week. Guess what I didn't watch on Friday? Smackdown. I was out with friends. I watched highlights. And I just read the results. And all I can say is, what the hell happened on this show? What happened on this show? I came out of this confused. Especially with that stuff with Braun Strowman, The Fiend, and Alexa Bliss. And seeing this episode, I also became not so interested also in Retribution. And so many other things. I will say I didn't hate this one quite as much as I hated last week's episode. But I still thought this was another garbage episode. SmackDown just continues to be a super lifeless show. At least Raw has some intriguing things. SmackDown has just about nothing. And I mean nothing. Well, okay, there was one thing I really liked on this show, and that was the segments with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I will give them that. Those segments to hype up that hair versus hair match I thought were excellent. Everything else was what it was. Not interesting. Or what the hell is that? Super confusing. I just still cannot believe that Fox is permitting these quality shows. I really don't get it. I do not get it, guys. But you never know, because things are some things that you don't think are going to be that great can be good. Like last week, I didn't watch last week's SmackDown either. But I came up here and ranted for 45 minutes about a show that I literally didn't watch and just read the results of what happened and just, caught like the top 10 video or whatnot. And I got over 1,000 views. Maybe this will be the same. Who the heck knows? But I am going to do that and talk about this show and give my thoughts as we're getting closer to SummerSlam, which will be 1 week from tonight. This time next week I will be at my friend Joe's house watching the show. Hoping to get a good show. But I'm not getting my hopes up. Let's put it that way. Let's check the live chat first. We just got Tyler saying, let Braun in. Why are we wasting AJ and Jeff on free TV? Oh, we'll talk about that. Oh, no doubt about it. 2016 SmackDown is better than 2020 SmackDown. Anything's better than 2020 SmackDown at this point. And he wants this virus to end. Don't we all? Alright. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this show. We opened up with, of course, a recap of what's been going on with Retribution. There's been extra security set up. But, of course, is that really going to work? No, it's not. Out comes Big E. Puts his jacket over Corey Graves' head, apparently. And, basically, again, it can just thing like, oh my goodness, people don't think I can be a single star. Oh, for crying out loud, this is all BS. I hate how they think, oh my goodness, I can't be a single star. When you are literally the muscle of the New Day, pretty much. Yeah, right. You really think that's not going to be believable? We know your history. At least us people have been watching wrestling for at least the past decade would know, at least, that Big E has a ton of singles potential, and there's no doubt about it. So he's getting ready for a match against John Morrison. saying how New Day's injury prone. He's going to send Big E home to eat. But of course, as the match is about to start, we get the lights flickering out, and once again, Michael Cole and Corey Graves run away like goons as Retribution surrounds them, and they basically beat them down. Of course, they looked a lot taller this time, but again, they still look like Akira Tozawa's ninjas. And and I don't know. Again, it just look like a bunch of buffoons out there. Again, I don't know. I just don't have any faith in this Retribution stable. One, like I said before, they look like the ninjas. These pointless ninjas that, again, I don't get why they still exist. Oh yeah, just make Vince laugh. And then, I don't know. And then this week in itself, it seemed like there was more members of them. Like, how many people can you possibly make part of a stable? It's just a list of like 20 more people that Vince McMahon just wants to ruin their careers. Who knows? Also, another thought I had. I really, really don't want to suggest this. I'm not actually saying suggesting. I'm starting to wonder if this is why they did that angle with her. What if Nia Jax is part of Retribution? It would make sense because they freaking suspended her. She's probably gonna think like, oh my god, that was so unfair. Like, everybody's talking about me and how I get suspended, so I decided to come back and just destroy this company. Don't be surprised. I don't know. I just have that slight inkling feeling, and it wouldn't surprise me if somehow she joined. Heck, you know what would be even worse? What if she was the leader of Retribution? Oh, you ruined my life. Oh my god, like, everybody's talking about me and even fired me, suspended me, so yeah. Already just have no faith in Retribution. So that's how we start off the show. Then backstage, we see Big E and Morrison regrouping with a bunch of the roster, like Nakamura and Cesaro were back there. Chad Gable, which I'll read about him in a little bit. The Lucha House Party, and Drew Gulak. So, of course, who has to come rolling up because he thinks he's such a leader and he knows how to talk to people? Because I am awesome. I am royal. I am the king. You're all pathetic. Sound like a scripted, robotic typewriter. King Corbin. Yay. He rolls up and he's like, guys, we're under attack and we need direction. Then Big E gets in his face and says this is their house, and he'll be damned if he lets the Foot Clan roll up in their business, basically calling them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatnot, and he will not be defeated. Later tonight, he's going to beat John Morrison up in that ring, but now is the time to stand and fight. And then Sheamus rolls up. He congratulates Big E on making such an inspirational speech. Retribution can smell the fear on Big E. They wouldn't dare interfere, though, with one of his matches, because if they have any sense at all, they'd be afraid of him. Big E says if Sheamus had any issue, had any sense, he'd realize he wasn't alone. And then Big E leaves with Lucha House Party and Drew Gulak, and Sheamus stands there alone in that weird-looking top hat. Alright, I guess we're doing a Big E and Sheamus feud. That might take place at SmackDown over something, at SummerSlam over something else that's happening next week, and should be happening at SummerSlam. Tyler gave us, a heads up about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So then, speaking of SummerSlam and me losing interest, here comes Sasha and Bayley. They're saying, oh, Retribution actually wants to hear what they have to say, so the crowd should follow along. After what happened on Raw, Sasha says we know she has to wrestle Asuka at SummerSlam, and they'll have to defend their tag titles at Payback. But they're not worried about that. Tonight is about Bayley and Bayley only. So not even McMahon can hold them down. Haha, yeah right, they'll find a way to hold them down. As for the lucky idiot that gets to face Bayley at SummerSlam, we're going to find out. So they're going to add another one to the list of accomplishments and ring announce this battle royal. So they start introducing the following superstars: Billy Kay, Ruby Riott. We did have Ruby Riott, but Billy Kay and Peyton Royce are in this triple branded battle royal. Again, this is where I say enough, because I'm okay with Sasha doing what to do with Sasha in the Raw Women's title, but not everybody needs to be moving on the brands. Here's where, of course, I definitely dig more in saying that you're killing the brand split again. So, of course, it's triple brand battle royal. Billy Kay, Peyton Royce. And for NXT, we got Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. Lacey Evans. But then, Sasha and Bayley get to the next entrant. And they're like, what? Oh no, this has got to be some type of mistake. This can't be. We're going to skip that one because it's probably not going to happen. The music hits, and it's Asuka. Asuka, the woman who is challenging Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. The woman who is a member of the Raw roster. That is not the Women's Tag Team Champion and has no business going between brand and brand. So Asuka comes out and goes right after Sasha and Bayley. And then the rest of the Battle Royale come out. Let me see, who else did we have in here? We had... Well, here's the order of elimination I'm going to read off. Ruby Riott was eliminated first. Probably one of the most credible I've ever in this Battle Royale. She goes first. Then Billy Kay. Then Peyton Royce. Then Liv Morgan. We had Nikki Cross. Dana Brooke, who was somehow one of the final three. Tamina was in there. Bianca Belair. Naomi. Oh yeah, Naomi Naomi Deserves Better. Trending. She gets eliminated early by Lacey Evans. Yeah, that's right. Shotzi Blackheart was in there. Shayna Baszler, of course, was in there. We have all that happening. It gets down to, I think the final four were Tegan Nox, Dana Brooke, Shayna Baszler, and Asuka. So we have one SmackDown Women's Wrestler left, and it's, of all people, Dana Brooke. Tegan Nox, who I like Tegan Nox, would have been nice for a change. But then it gets down to the final two, Asuka and Shayna Baszler. First off, both of them are on Raw. And second off, towards the end of the match, Bayley tries to pull Asuka off the apron to eliminate Asuka because she does not want to face Asuka for her title at SummerSlam. Here's my question. Why would you also want to face Shayna Baszler? Two people that, in Bayley's character, why would Bayley want to face either one of them? Just like in 2016, whenever they made that random ass triple threat match for the number one contendership for Triple H's title at WrestleMania, they gave that match, just handed it to Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar. Three people, once again, that I gotta ask, why would Triple H want to face any of those guys? So, once again, not only do we have two superstars from Raw that are left to fight for the SmackDown Women's Championship, but we have two superstars that why would Bayley want to face any of them? Feels like Asuka and like Dana Brooke, or Asuka and even Asuka and Tegan Nox, or like Asuka like Shotzi Blackheart, or somebody along those lines. Why would someone like, I can say, okay, Bayley probably would take them as a joke and not be intimidated. But like, again, Asuka and Shayna Baszler are two people that I just don't understand why Bayley would want to face either one of them. And then it finally gets down to it. Asuka wins. So, Asuka is pulling double duty. She is fighting both Sasha Banks and Bayley for their women's titles at SummerSlam. Didn't Asuka just beat Bayley last week? This past week on Raw? Yeah. So, is there really nobody else for Bayley to fight? Like, we couldn't have given this opportunity to Naomi because Naomi's actually trending, which she still was trending after this match, especially since you eliminated her super early, probably to get more heat on Lacey Evans, who once again is a heel because she lost a stupid karaoke contest. Where is this going? Like, why couldn't they have just gotten to Sasha and Bayley facing at this show, for crying out loud? Yes, maybe they wanted to wait for a crowd, but we still don't know when that crowd is happening again. And at this point, without Piss is the initials for somebody else we'll get to in a little bit. Without crappy these shows are, how do you expect to bring back a crowd? This show, once again, just shows us, it's basically illustrating Vince McMahon thinking we're just a bunch of idiots. And it's like, oh, but you said you love this. Well, why are you booing us now? You know why? Because it doesn't make any sense. Just because a Hall of Famer like Shawn Michaels, who's going to be on Raw this week, or Braun Strowman, someone we wanted to see for the longest time be Universal Champion, and the moment that he should be getting it, you don't capitalize. Yet when you need him to be Universal Champion, then he's good enough, and you give him just a poor run with it. Then it's like, that gets on our nerves. So now you're going to overexpose Asuka by having her fight both Sasha and Bayley for the titles at SummerSlam. And what's it going to do? It's going to do nothing. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, that was dumb. Triple brand battle royale comes down to two Raw superstars that, once again, why would Bayley want to face either one of them? That's that. So, of course, after that, we have a backstage segment where Asuka blindsides both of them and whatnot, yada, yada, yada. We get to one of the only parts of the show I actually enjoyed. And that's this, first of two promos involving the tension with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Mandy Rose, of course, with shorter hair now, which a little bit longer, of course, it is than this actual short hair. Because, like I said before, women with super short hair, I don't know. I just don't look at them and find them attractive. But Mandy, still long enough. I'll give her the thumbs up. But Mandy, in my opinion, cut one of her best promos here. She said how part of what Sonya said is true. People have been saying that she's just a pretty face. And to be honest, it hurts. She talks about her trials and tribulations to get where she is, and says, of all people, Sonya should know how hard she works. But it turns out she's just a reminder to herself, and thanks to Sonya, reminding her that she is more than just a pretty face. Because obviously, Sonya just wants her to think that she's nothing but a pretty face, but obviously Sonya sees her as more than just a pretty face, and she's jealous. So, to humiliate her after what Sonya did to her, she's challenging Sonya to a match at SummerSlam. Hair versus hair, which I'll get into more when we get to Sonya's promo, which was also a really good promo. And I gotta give both these women praise when we do get to that promo. So anyways, let's continue on. We have Nikki Cross. Well, first off, Sheamus rolls up on some security and tells them, take it easy. He's taking over, and Retribution, has nothing to fear with him, being in charge. Then we see Nikki Cross recover from her match when she spots Alexa Bliss and rushes over to hug her. She apologized for shoving her off a couple weeks ago, and Bliss says she's fine, not to worry about her. Cross wants to take her somewhere, but she's like, I'm staying here because she needs answers from Braun Strowman. Oh boy. So we got that. But first, we got a squash match with Sheamus and Chad Gable. Sheamus won, and Chad Gable still continues to look like an idiot on live TV. Of course, this week, though, the question is he a face or is he a heel? He was chilling with the faces backstage when King Corbin was talking about his leadership he thinks he so well deservingly deserves. Not. And, yeah, he even came across as a face, even though I couldn't tell if he was just setting Riddle up later for an interview for Corbin to attack him, which, again, just get this doggone feud over with, because anything involving Baron Corbin at this point just makes me sick! Anyways, so then we have that. Then we have this segment. AJ Styles comes out with Joseph Parks, or whatever his name is, some guy from TNA that I don't really know about. I'm sure a lot of people do know about. They get in the ring with some type of display board covered up. AJ mentioned how there's a lot going on in the WWE, but having more pressing matters than hooligans tearing up the ring, like who gets to face him for the IC title. And it shouldn't matter, because Daniel Bryan, he has to be a fighting champion. He wants to just hang out and enjoy his reign and stream on Twitch. But everyone always throws out suggestions for who he should defend the title against. And the statistically reasons as to why. But then it dawned on him. When he watches sports, he looks at statistics. And he's a handsome stud of a nerd himself, because he cares about statistics. But if you're going to do statistics, he's hired, and I'm not even kidding you, the phenomenal Intercontinental Statistic System. The phenomenal Intercontinental Statistic System. What did that spell out? What are his initials? PISS! Yeah! Another PISS storyline. PISS! It spells out PISS! It spells out PISS! It spells out PISS! It's so funny! It's such good shit! Yeah. You have a man out there whose initials as his role are PISS. You know the 18th President of the United States, Ulysses S. Grant? Yeah. His initials, his birth name was Hiram Ulysses Grant. But he didn't want HUG written on his chest when he was involved in the Civil War. No. You didn't want like a guy in a war walking around with HUG on his chest. HUG! I'm pretty sure a human being does not want to be referred to as a professional as PISS. But of course, why else? It has to be funny. It's funny. Well, in SpongeBob, it's Pope, People, Order, our Patty. So WWE's gotta be PISS. Oh, PISS. It's so funny. Like, just like, hey, oh, PISS. Vince, you totally make that stuff not funny. SpongeBob is a kid's show. This is not a damn kid's show. So, it's not funny. So yes, anyways, besides PISS, we have Styles admitting the name needs some work, but he peels the top line of the board, and it's him. And then he claims nobody has earned the right to fight him. If you really work hard, though, one day you can make it on his board to face him. Out comes Jeff Hardy. He says he respects AJ, but he didn't get a fair share in the IC title tournament, which is very true. It was Sheamus who took out Jeff Hardy because of what he set up Jeff Hardy for with that hit and run accident. So it's over what happened. He's moving on. That title is very special to him. It's his first singles title, and he stood on his own feet then, just as he does now after conquering his demons once more. And he thinks AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy sounds mega cool. And AJ's like, you're right. I do respect him, and you deserve to be on the board. But if you're asking for a fight for the title, hell no. Absolutely not. He hasn't earned the right to be on the board. But he knows what Jeff's been through. But this ain't no pity party, which makes Hardy snap. He lays out AJ with a twist of fate, and he writes his name on the whiteboard and leaves. This would have been better if it wasn't for piss. And where they went with this. First, though, we have Cesaro and Nakamura backstage getting ready for Nakamura's match at Grand Metalik, and they leave the titles behind them just for Lucha House Party to steal them. Idiots. Then we see Styles and Joseph Parks walking around backstage with the whiteboard, and AJ says Jeff doesn't respect him or the title, so he's going to show everyone what happens when he messes with AJ Styles. He tries to take off the whiteboard, but it turns out that Parker accidentally bought a permanent marker, which AJ freaks out about. And, the match is made official. AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy, Intercontinental Championship, right? Right? That sounds fun. Yes, it does. Great match. It's taking place on SmackDown next week. Not at SummerSlam. On SmackDown. Yeah, you're going to have King Corbin and Matt Hardy at SummerSlam. Matt Riddle at SummerSlam probably. And Sheamus and Big E. But you won't have AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy. A pay-per-view caliber match for the Intercontinental Championship on a pay-per-view, especially SummerSlam? That makes no sense to me. Grand Metalik took on Shinsuke Nakamura. The only two noteworthy things about this match, first off, Kalisto returned, and he looked jacked. But Grand Metalik defeated Nakamura. Yeah, I love Grand Metalik, but he's nowhere on the star level that Nakamura should be, and he has no right pinning Shinsuke Nakamura clean. Yes, there was a distraction, but it was barely a distraction. Nakamura lost clean to someone nobody close on his level. Don't you love it? So yeah, that's how they're going to set up the Lucha House Party, getting a match against Cesaro and Nakamura. Great storytelling, right? That's a great way to build tag teams, right? Nah, not at all. Matt Riddle's going to be backstage, saying he's a pretty laid-back guy. It's annoying to keep his head on a swivel, but it's cool because he came here to compete. But he's tired of Baron Corbin walking around calling himself a king. He's been trying to get a match with him, but he doesn't know what to do because Corbin's an idiot. But then here comes Chad Gable apologizing. He got caught up in the King's ransom because, well, I have a family, I need the money, even though you get paid how much money probably already. And basically he wants to apologize to Riddle, who accepts the apology. And then Corbin blindsides him and basically tells Chad thanks for the help. So I don't know if that was a setup or not, so who knows. Then we have this interview with Alexa Bliss, who says she's been better, talks about her history with Braun Strowman, how he's initially intimidating, but she got to know him and became good friends. Maybe they could have grown to be more than friends, but she doesn't want to speculate if that's why the Fiend attacked her. It's scary and compelling to be in his presence, and once you've interacted with him, it's like you can feel the pressure. But she did not respond when she was asked how Braun Strowman made her feel last week when he said he doesn't care about her, which made no sense. And then Sonya Deville then cuts the promo where she accepts a hair versus hair match. She thinks Mandy will look great bald. Again, here's the thing. That's actually a match that hair versus hair works for this feud. It's built up perfectly. Yes, it's dragged on, but I gotta say, this feud made both of these women much better. Both Mandy and Sonya. Especially Sonya. Sonya Deville, to me, again, I was not a fan of her when she first came up. And Mandy Rose didn't really turn my head too much either, except for her good looks. But even like the promo that Mandy had, like, okay, Mandy Rose only turned face because she sided with Otis. But I feel like this is like, a more personal promo with her. Like, put, the hot looks aside, just the sex appeal type gimmick, and just allow Mandy Rose to speak from the heart. Yes, she knows a lot of people think she's good looking. But she is much more than just that. And it was simple and effective, and to me, one of the best promos she's cut. Sonya Deville, though. Sonya, I think, to me, has already won this. Like, she's gotten what she needs to get out of this feud. It's just that Mandy needs to get her comeuppance. And that's going to happen. And Sonya bald, I think, will work. I think she will be a very badass bald. Unless she puts a wig on or something. Or even like a mask, like a face mask, like CM Punk did when he got his head shaved bald back in 2011. But I still think what needs to happen is once these two finish their match at SummerSlam, I think Sonya needs to go to Raw. Mandy stays on SmackDown. Asuka wins the title off of Sasha. Sonya Deville is the one to eventually win the title off of Asuka. Because Sonya deserves it. And even if they, of course, I think it could be Naomi, but even if, well, it's probably going to be Sasha Banks taking it off of Bayley. But, of course, if that's the case, and have, Mandy eventually... At some point, Mandy I think, has earned her way to slowly get to being, like, the underdog, babyface women's champion. I think so. But I think, this is a feud that I think has benefited both women. And it's like, okay, it's like one of them, Sonya Deville, she's got what she needed out of this feud. Now, the only thing to put the icing on the cake is for Mandy to get her comeuppance. Simple as that. We have Big E, though, and John Morrison finally having their match again with more members of the roster circling the ring to, prevent Retribution from getting involved, even though they attacked backstage and they went back and, they tried, by the time they got there, Retribution's already gone to the damage and Big E wins the match. And so be it. So we got that. And then after the match, Sheamus Brogue kicked Big E. So, yeah, we're going to get AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. We're going to get Big E and Sheamus at SummerSlam. Unless they save it for Payback, which, as much as I'd love to do graphics for Payback, because I really love the Payback graphics, I'm not sure which ones they're going to bring back. I'm not, because I feel like this is going to be a waste of time. I don't have the time to do graphics for a show that takes place only 1 week after the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Just saying. Alright, let's get to this main event. This ending segment that made no sense. So, oh yeah. Remember how I said that I think Sonya Deville would look good bald? Anybody who's a fan of Seinfeld here? Remember the episode when... Well, there's two episodes I think of. The first one, whenever the fix-up, when Jerry and Elaine were trying to set up George with Elaine's friend Cynthia, and of course Elaine's like, he's kinda losing his hair. He's bald? No. He's not bald. He's balding. So he will be bald. Yep. Of course, my favorite one though, of course, is in the beard. Whenever George was wearing that toupee to cover up his baldness, thinking that it would be more attracting to women, he basically turns away a woman who was bald herself. And he comes in and he goes, "She's bald! Bald! You're bald! No, I'm not. I was bald." Anybody who knows the episodes, we can be friends. Anyways, so I'm saying that because out comes the choo-choo train among men. Choo-choo! Braun Strowman, who's now bald. He looks like either Big Show or Eric Young with a beard. He's bald! Just like Shawn Michaels was bald last year. And Baldy Michaels is going to be showing up on Raw this week just to put over Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, and also to desperately draw ratings for this show. Because that's what WWE does. They rely on the past to bring ratings to the show. But anyways, Braun Strowman, the choo-choo train among men, Braun Strowman comes out, gets on the mic and says the Fiend knows exactly what he's going to get at SummerSlam because he's the most evil SOB that anyone on this earth has ever laid eyes on. He's like, get out here, face his fears, and he can literally murder him and eat his entrails. Scripted. But out comes Alexa Bliss. Now here's the thing. Yes, these two were Team Little Big in the Mixed Match Challenge. And yes, they teased a romance angle on the Mixed Match Challenge. This never went anywhere outside the Mixed Match Challenge, so I still don't get why they're making this a big deal when it's like, it was just like, it didn't matter. Oh, all of a sudden it matters now because we need something for this Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt feud that I'm definitely beginning to say they've overproduced and they've overdone it with. So Alexa comes out. She says, at the risk of making you angrier, she thinks that they need to talk. He's like, about what? It's about him. You're not the Braun I once knew. You said you don't give a damn about me. I don't believe that. We've been friends for years. But Strowman's like, you used me as a pawn, and I meant what I said. I'm confused. Let me spell it out for you. C-O-N-F. No. But it wouldn't surprise me if Braun would have done that. Start spelling out confused. Everyone who comes in contact with the Fiend changes, including her. So he wants her to get out of the ring so he can have the Fiend. But Bliss was just like, be careful what you wish for. If I can't talk sense into you, I will slap some. And then she slaps him across the face, which had this very overpiped sound effect that made it look so fake. And then Braun picks her up. And then the lights are blinking and flashing. He's like, oh, I'm going to toss her here. 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 And then he throws her up in the air as the lights went out. So you can't tell me they're trying to fake it out like they faked out the punt from Ric Flair or on the Flair, because Bliss already, like, super high in the air whenever he tossed her. The Fiend, the lights come back on, the Fiend came on in the ring, but then Braun Strowman somehow was able to teleport onto the screen. He started laughing like the Fiend, and it just made absolutely no sense. None at all. Here's where I think we went wrong with this Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt feud, besides it being overproduced and Alexa Bliss getting involved, which again just feels so unnecessary. Again, yes, they teased, some type of like a blossoming romance angle in the Mixed Match Challenge, but it went nowhere after that. It was nothing that needed to get involved in anything else. Like, who was going to know about this romance angle? Because who was watching the Mixed Match Challenge? Not really many people. I mean, I tried it for a little bit, but then I lost interest. To me, it was pointless. Well, I mean, yes, it was good for, the charities they're donating to, but to me, again, it was pointless. But I still think them doing the feud with Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt was just pointless. Like, what did it accomplish? Like, the whole idea of the story with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt back at Money in the Bank was because Bray Wyatt was trying to protect Braun Strowman from the Fiend. So why didn't they just go straight to the Fiend? They probably just drag it out till SummerSlam, but like, once again, it does not work when you throw something in as filler, and this, it hurts the longevity of it. And also, you have Strowman feud with Miz and Morrison while we wait for Bray Wyatt to come back from being a daddy. And then you just, again, why is Braun Strowman all of a sudden being so mean to Alexa Bliss? Like, in my opinion, if they're trying to go with a double turn, it's not going to work for this. Because, yes, of course, Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman have a history together, but it's not a history that you, like, in the amount of time they've given this feud to go this direction, it's not like that you can pull off a successful double turn. Again, if you want to pull off a successful double turn, listen to my friend Rob Kenobi's idea he had for back in 2017 when Bray Wyatt feuded with Finn Balor, and how that could have been a successful double turn and made 2 main event stars. Like, this is not going to make Bray Wyatt a babyface. But it's definitely making me believe that even though I was totally against this when they did it back in 2017 when he was Mr. Money in the Bank, I think it's time we turn Braun Strowman heel. Strowman needs it. He needs a complete reset. Again, they dropped the ball on him so many times, but the moment they need him, the moment WWE needs him, they give him the title and they give him crap to work with. And based off this promo, he needs to be a heel. And they had, get this, the micromanaged crowd boo him. The micromanaged crowd booed Braun Strowman. It made no sense. Like, this whole thing just makes absolutely no sense to me. And I can't wrap my finger around it. And I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. So that's SmackDown. Check the live chat. He'll get it off the air. Gotta go to bed. Tyler, let me see here. Take MVP and Cruz for the U.S. title off of SummerSlam and put AJ and Jeff on SummerSlam. You could. I still say take either Corbin or Riddle or Sheamus and Big E off and put Styles and Hardy here instead. I don't get why we're wasting that match on SmackDown rather than a pay-per-view, because that could be a freaking awesome match. Give King Corbin will not be like JBL on SmackDown 2004. Oh, exactly. He will not. Again, King Corbin is just a cheap heat heel. Just a heat magnet that people think can get heat just as he shows up. Well, he's boring and I don't care about him. We want GMs, of course, that, can actually make decisions and look like the show's under control. Vince needs to take a piss test for sure. SpongeBob sees Bold in the 2004 movie. That was good. Fake crowd. Bailey's and new Sammy. Kind of, I wouldn't say as bad as Sami Zayn, but, But guys, that's going to do it. I'm tired. I'm running out of gas. I'm going to get off. I'm giving SmackDown a D+ this week. D+. What are your thoughts on SmackDown? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe or comment to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAir13. Raw review this week. NXT on Wednesday because AEW Dynamite's going to be moved around for the next couple weeks because of basketball. So, next episode of Dynamite's on Saturday, even though that's the same night as TakeOver 30. So, that'll probably come first. And then, of course, SummerSlam review next Sunday. Of course, preview predictions are to come this week as well. So, we'll see how that works. So, that's going to do it, guys. D+ for SmackDown. What are your thoughts on SmackDown? Leave thoughts in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe or comment on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, DemandAir13. I'm out, guys. Good night. Have a good week. Peace out, everybody.